In a grimy high school bathroom, shy freshman Lily faces a nightmare. Bullies corner her, demanding she drink toilet water. But in 30 seconds, the tables turn and they're begging for mercy. What secret power does Lily unleash? You won't believe the shocking twist. Subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories. Lily Harper was invisible, or so she thought. At 15, she was the kind of girl who slipped through the halls of Lincoln High School like a ghost. Her head down, her oversized hoodie swallowing her slight frame. Her mousy brown hair fell over her glasses, shielding her hazel eyes from the world. Lincoln High, a sprawling brick building in suburban Ohio, was a place where popularity was currency and Lily was broke. She didn't have the glossy confidence of the cheerleaders or the loud swagger of the jocks. She had her sketchbook, her thoughts, and a secret she guarded like a treasure buried deep in her chest. Nobody knew about it. Not her overworked single mom, not her teachers, and definitely not the trio of girls who made her life a daily gauntlet. The Bullies were led by Kay Simmons, a junior with a smile sharp enough to cut glass. Kay was the queen bee of Lincoln High's social hive. Her blonde hair always perfect, her makeup flawless, her cruelty legendary. Her two sidekicks, Maya and Tarara, followed her like shadows, giggling at her every command. They'd targeted Lily since the first week of freshman year, spotting her quiet demeanor and plain clothes as an invitation to torment. It started small, snide comments about her thrift store sneakers, shoving her books off her desk. But as the months passed, their cruelty escalated. By spring, Lily dreaded every trip to the girls' bathroom, where Kay and her crew often lurked, waiting for their next victim. It was a humid April afternoon when things came to a head. As the final bell had rung, and the halls were emptying as students spilled out into the parking lot, Lily lingered in the art room, finishing a sketch of a stormy sea, her pencil strokes bold and chaotic. Art was her escape, the one place where she could pour out the emotions she kept locked inside. She didn't notice the clock until the janitor poked his head in, telling her to wrap it up. Sighing, she packed her sketchbook and headed to the bathroom before catching the late bus home. She didn't know she was walking into a trap. The girls' bathroom on the second floor was quiet, the fluorescent lights buzzing faintly. Lily pushed open the door, her sneakers squeaking on the tiled floor. She froze. Kaylee, Maya, and Tara were there, leaning against the sinks, their arms crossed, their eyes glinting with malice. Kale's lips curled into a smirk. "Well, look who it is," she said, her voice dripping with mock sweetness. "Little Lily all alone. You didn't think you could avoid us forever, did you?" Lily's stomach churned. She clutched her backpack strap, her eyes darting to the door. Tara stepped in front of it, blocking her escape. Mia giggled, twirling a strand of her dark hair. "What's the rush, freak?" she said. "We just want to have some fun." Kay stepped closer, her heels clicking on the tiles. She held up a plastic cup, the kind you'd find at a cheap party filled with murky water from the toilet bowl. The smell hit Lily like a punch, sharp and foul. "You're going to drink this," Kay said, her voice low and dangerous. "Or we're going to make you wish you had." Lily's heart pounded. She wanted to run to scream, but her legs felt like lead, and her voice was trapped in her throat. She'd spent months enduring their taunts, their chevs, their laughter, always hoping they'd get bored and move on. But this was different. This was a line she didn't know if she could cross. Her mind raced, searching for a way out, but the walls seemed to close in, the air thick with the scent of bleach and cruelty. Kay thrust the cup toward her, the water slushing. "Drink it, loser," she snapped. "Or I'll pour it down your throat myself." Mia and Tara laughed, their voices echoing off the tiles. Lily's hands shook as she took a step back, her back hitting the cold wall. She was trapped, cornered like an animal. But something inside her shifted deep in her chest. That secret she'd kept buried began to stir, like a spark catching on dry tinder. Lily wasn't just a quiet girl. She'd always known she was different. Ever since she was a kid. It started with small things, knowing when her mom was about to call before the phone rang. Sensing a storm before the clouds even gathered. By middle school, she'd realized it was more than intuition. She could feel people's emotions, their intentions like currents in the air. And sometimes when she focused hard enough, she could push back. She'd never told anyone, not even her mom, because she didn't have a name for it, and she was terrified of what it meant. She'd spent years hiding it, suppressing it. But now, with Kale's smirk burning into her, and that disgusting cup inches from her face, the spark inside her flared into a flame. She closed her eyes for a split second, and when she opened them, her fear was gone. Her voice, usually barely a whisper, came out steady. "You don't want to do this," she said, looking straight at Kay. The words weren't loud, but they carried a weight that made the air in the room feel heavy. Kay blinked, her smirk faltering. "What did you say?" she snapped, but there was a crack in her confidence, a flicker of unease. Lily didn't answer. Instead, she focused, reaching out with that part of her she'd always kept locked away. She could feel Kale's anger, sharp and brittle, mixed with a deep hidden insecurity. Maya's laughter was a mask for her fear of being left out. Dara's cruelty stemmed from a desperate need to please Kay. Lily saw it all like threads in a tapestry, and she tugged hard. Kay gasped, dropping the cup. The plastic hit the floor, splashing toilet water across the tiles. Her hands flew to her head, and she staggered back, her eyes wide with panic. "What's happening?" she cried, her voice high and frantic. Maya and Tara froze, their laughter dying as they clutched their own heads, their faces contorting in pain. It wasn't physical pain. Lily wasn't hurting them, but she was pushing their own emotions back at them, amplifying their fears, their doubts, their shame until they couldn't think straight. Kay fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Stop it," she screamed. "Please make it stop." Mia was sobbing, muttering apologies while Tara backed against the door, shaking her head like she could shake off the overwhelming guilt flooding her mind. Lily stood still, her heart racing, but her expression calm. She hadn't moved, hadn't raised a hand, but the three girls were unraveling before her. It lasted only 30 seconds, but to Kay, Maya and Tara, it felt like an eternity. When Lily finally let go, releasing the mental grip she'd held, the girls collapsed, gasping for breath. Kay looked up at her, mascara streaking her cheeks, her eyes filled with a mix of fear and awe. Are you?" she whispered. Lily didn't answer. She picked up her backpack, stepped over the spilled water, and walked out of the bathroom, leaving the three girls huddled on the floor. The hallway was empty, the school quiet, except for the distant hum of a vacuum cleaner. She felt lighter, stronger, like she'd shed a weight she'd carried for years. But she also felt a flicker of fear. She'd never used her ability like that before, never let it out so fully. What did it mean? Who was she really? The next day the school buzzed with rumors. Kay, Mia, and Tara were subdued, avoiding Lily's gaze in the halls. They didn't speak of what happened, but their reign of terror seemed to falter. Other students noticed, whispering about the sudden change. Lily kept her head down. her sketchbook clutched to her chest, but she couldn't ignore the shift. People were looking at her differently, like they sensed something had changed. Then came the first twist. A week later, during lunch, a boy named Ethan approached her table. Ethan was a senior, a quiet type who kept to himself, known for his knack with computers and a reputation for staying out of drama. He slid into the seat across from her, his dark eyes curious. "I heard what happened," he said, keeping his voice low. "In the bathroom. You did something to them, didn't you?" Lily's heart skipped. She thought nobody else knew, that the girls were too embarrassed to talk. "I don't know what you mean," she said, staring at her tray. Ethan leaned closer. "Not in the bathroom, but before last month in the library. You were reading, and I saw this glow around you just for a second. I didn't know what it was until I heard the rumors." He paused, glancing around to make sure nobody was listening. "You're like me." Lily's breath caught. "Like you," she whispered. He nodded. "I can do things too. Not exactly like you, but different." "There are others?" "Lily. People like us, and someone's been watching you." Her mind reeled. Others watching her. Before she could ask more, the bell rang. And Ethan slipped away, leaving her with more questions than answers. That night, she couldn't sleep, her thoughts spinning. Who was watching her? What did Ethan mean? Why now? After years of hiding, was her secret coming to light? The second twist came a few days later. Lily found a note slipped into her locker, written in neat, unfamiliar handwriting. "Meet me at the old oak tree behind the football field. Midnight. Come alone." No signature, no explanation. Her first instinct was to ignore it, but curiosity and Ethan's words nod at her. She had to know. At midnight, she snuck out, her sneakers crunching on the gravel as she approached the oak tree. The air was cool. The night silent except for the distant hum of traffic. Under the tree stood a woman, maybe in her 30s, with sharp features and eyes that seemed to see right through Lily. "You're Lily Harper," the woman said, her voice calm but commanding. "I'm Clara. I've been looking for people like you," Clara revealed. She was part of a group called the Sentinels. People with abilities like Lily's who trained to use their gifts for a greater purpose. "You're not alone," Clara said. "But you're in danger. There's another group, the collectors who hunt people like us. They know about you now because of what you did to those girls." Lily's stomach dropped. "What do they want with me?" she asked. Clara's expression darkened. "They want to control you or destroy you." The revelation hit Lily like a tidal wave. Her quiet life was gone, replaced by a world of secrets, danger, and power she barely understood. Clara offered to train her to help her control her abilities and protect herself, but it meant leaving her mom, her school, everything she knew. Lily hesitated, torn between fear and the pull of something bigger. Back at school, things grew stranger. Kay approached her one day, her usual arrogance gone. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice barely audible, "for everything. I don't know what you did, but I can't stop thinking about it." Lily saw genuine remorse in her eyes, and for the first time, she felt a pang of sympathy. But before she could respond, Ethan pulled her aside, warning her that the collectors were close. "They've got people in the school," he said. "Teachers, maybe even students. You can't trust anyone." The final twist came during the spring talent show. Lily had signed up to display her art, hoping to keep things normal. But as she stood backstage, clutching her sketchbook, she felt a familiar prickle, the sense of being watched. Auditorium was packed, the lights dim, the crowd buzzing. Then she saw him, a man in a dark coat, sitting in the back row, his eyes locked on her. She knew instantly he wasn't just a parent or a teacher. He was one of them, a collector. Panic surged, but Lily remembered Clara's words. Your power is strongest when you trust yourself. As her name was called, she stepped onto the stage, her heart pounding. Instead of showing her sketches, she closed her eyes and reached out, feeling the emotions of the crowd: excitement, boredom, curiosity, and from the man in the dark coat, a cold, predatory intent. She focused on him, pushing back with everything she had, flooding his mind with doubt, fear, and the weight of his own guilt. The man gasped, clutching his chest, and stumbled out of the auditorium. The crowd didn't notice, too caught up in the next act. But Lily knew she'd want for now. Backstage, Ethan found her, his face pale. You're stronger than I thought, he said. But they'll come back. You need to decide, Lily. Stay and hide or join the Sentinels and fight. Lily didn't have an answer yet. She went home that night, her mom asleep on the couch, the TV flickering. She sat at her desk, sketching the stormy sea again. But this time a figure stood on the shore, a girl, small but unafraid, facing the waves. Lily knew it was her. For the first time. She wasn't invisible. She was a force, and the world was about to find out. The next morning, she called Clara. I'm in, she said, her voice steady. Whatever came next, collectors, sentinels, or secrets she couldn't yet imagine, Lily Harper was ready. Wow, what a ride. What did you think of Lily's epic stand? Hit that subscribe button for more thrilling stories, and let us know in the comments where in the USA are you watching from. Stay tuned for more twists and turns.